My colleagues from Life are now here with their maiden picks of 2021. You've surely heard about this one, Bridgerton, out now on Netflix. It's been described as Jane Austen meets Gossip Girl. Now, the show is adapted from the 8-book Bridgerton series of romance novels by Julia Quinn. This first season covers a story with a well-worn trope of a fake relationship leading to real feelings. I've actually binged the show and I want to hear what Live journalist Jan Lee has to say about it. So Jen, Regency romances are not a genre for everybody, but did you enjoy it? And if you did,
Yes.
what factors worked for you?
Just like massively enjoyed it because it's pure fantasy, escapist fun, right? I mean, of course, you know, the lead characters are all extremely attractive, which helps. You have a lot of chances to see the main guy topless because he boxes, so that's great. And also just there's a lot of modern quirks, right? Because you think of like Regency, Jane Austen era type romances, and you think of like white people, aristocratic setting, right? And this has like a multi-racial casting. So the main Duke, the Duke of Hastings. So as you mentioned, you know, this is based on the Bridgerton book series. There are 8 books in the series for each of the 8 Bridgerton siblings, and this one is on Daphne, the eldest daughter of the Bridgerton family, with Simon, the Duke of Hastings, and the Duke is black. So that's like a very refreshing take to sort of this sort of like period genre romance. And there's also like very fun touches like pop music, like string quartet version of like Thank You Next, Billie Eilish's Bad Guy playing over like the ballroom scenes. So it's actually very, very fun in that sense. And it touches on things that are quite interesting as well, like how in that kind of historical context, as a woman, you really have no, even if you come from a very rich family, you know, your entire quality of life is dependent on the men in your life, on whether they are good men or whether they are decent men who know how to manage their money, you know. So I think it was all in all a very fun, very escapist kind of series.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Jen. So we know this is an offering from Shonda Rhimes' production company, and Shonda Rhimes, of course, best known as the showrunner for Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, and she was also the executive producer of How to Get Away with Murder. So in watching Bridgerton, did you notice any common factors between Bridgerton and the other shows that Shonda Rhimes has done?
So yes, definitely. The whole extremely attractive cast is a very Shondaland thing. It's very, very sexy. So it has, I think if I'm not wrong, it has maybe a R21 rating on Netflix, which is a very Shonda Rhimes thing. She has like very passionate romances. So that's very fun to watch. And she has a thing for like pop music and like modern like songs. Every episode of Grey's Anatomy is named after a song. So that sort of like kind of links together, and she's always been very big on casting a diverse cast. So you see like Grey's Anatomy has Sandra Oh, who is Asian. There's like main characters who are black, like Dr. Bailey, Chandra Wilson. You know, so these are all things that you can sort of see links between Bridgerton and like previous Shonda Rhimes series. Although I have to point out that this series is actually created by her longtime collaborator Chris Van Dusen.
From the small screen to the big screen, our film correspondent's first pick of the new year is a documentary on the struggles of an elderly street vendor in Wuhan who's being forced to vacate his clothing and fruit stall at the famous Lumo Street to make way for a new retail complex. So John Lui is here to share more about City Dream. John, what did you like about this documentary?
I like it because it's like a very human drama. It's like a reality show. It's one very dramatic old man, 70-year-old Mr. Wang versus the city. You know, it's that struggle of David versus Goliath.
I see. Well, you know, John, we all remember Wuhan as the first city that was hit by the coronavirus. This documentary was filmed before that happened. Do you think it can still resonate as we are still, undergoing this pandemic?
Oh yeah, because it resonates because, Singapore, we go through urban renewal all the time. We see landmarks erased all our hawkers got resettled into hawker centers and coffee shops. So it's the same thing that's happening in Wuhan right now, except I think this took place a few years ago, way before this happened. But it's a sign of how things used to be in Singapore, and it resonates.
Yeah, of course. Well, thanks so much for that, John. Well, I've been speaking with film correspondent for the Straits Times, John Lui. Now, City Dream is available to rent on Kino Lounge for $9.99 for a 48-hour viewing period. But not all of us want to stay home and watch TV or movies. Even a trip to the supermarket can be quite an enjoyable experience. Sure, we can go to the big chains, but if you're looking to do more than simply buy groceries, food correspondent Eunice Kwek has written about 8 niche supermarkets. Now, these places stock themed specialty or artisanal produce, and their goods are sourced directly from farms or suppliers, enabling them to showcase a more curated range of offerings at better prices. So let's hear more from Eunice. Eunice, we can't go through all 8 supermarkets that you've mentioned in your article, but perhaps you could tell us more about 2, that will be most useful for our viewers. So which are the 2 that you would highlight?
The first one I will highlight is actually Bootles, and they are in Tiong Bahru. So this grocer is actually really good for a great variety of fresh produce. They have great vegetables, fresh chicken, pork, and they're at really reasonable prices for the fact that they are a gourmet grocer. And what I like is that they have a kitchen area as well. So they prepare fresh, ready meals for takeaway. They also have very friendly staff that are culinary trained, and I think that is a really good value add, because if maybe there's a certain ingredient that you're not really sure how to cook, how it should be best prepared, the staff can actually give you really good tips on how to cook, how to store these products. The other one that I would recommend is Everyday Vegan Grocer at the Grandstand. I know, many people may not be vegan or even vegetarian, but however, they really have a wide range of products that are stocked, and they are also plant-based. And what I like is that the owner is also very particular about the suppliers that she chooses from. So you can get, she's very conscious of the fact that, the products are cruelty-free, so they are not tested on animals. And you get fair trade and brands as well. So there's a really good ethos about it, sustainability, because you have to bring your own bags. So that's really great.
Right. Well, Eunice, going to the supermarket can be quite enjoyable, something that you've noted in your story as well. So if I want to browse the aisles and make an entire experience out of this one trip, which is the niche supermarket that I should go to?
Well, the biggest supermarket that I featured in this story is actually the Mediya Japanese supermarket in Millennial Walk. It is their newest flagship outlet. It's 2 stories. So you really want to spend a good time, browsing through aisles, that would be the one to go for. You can also have your meal there because they have a dining area on the first floor of the supermarket. You can eat ramen, bentos, very fresh sushi. There's also a bakery as well. So you can get your fresh buns. They have a sandwich selection also. And also, before you go, head to the Hokkaido. They have a Hokkaido area where there's Hokkaido produce. And well, I think it's important, let's say for people like me, and maybe yourself, tired, you want to travel, but you can't. This is a great way to kind of have a mini escape to Japan.
Great point there. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Eunice. That was food correspondent Eunice Kwek. Now, more pics in Life's Friday pages of tomorrow's papers, so keep an eye out for that.